Hello, it's Nikki and welcome back. I am so delighted that you are here. If you want to join the party, please subscribe, follow along, you know, all the stuff. Today I want to share with you my working week and the thinking behind it. And even though I've shared about a 25-hour week, but being able to operate a 24/7 business, it's kind of irrelevant in terms of the hours because there have been times in my life where I've worked a lot more and equally when I've worked a lot less. But I'm kind of using an average of 5 hours per day, Monday to Friday, just because it's a lovely square number and we can all get behind it. But I want to talk today about how you can really progress and do things in a way that feel really good. And let me just tell you a little bit about my business to begin with, because I think that might be useful. So within my business, I do lots of different things. So I'm an actor, I do some writing, I do some speaking, I do some content creating, I do some personal branding, I do some affiliates, I do workshops. Have I missed anything out? Probably. So essentially it's a real portfolio career. And I love that. I really love that. I also have 2 children, so they are 4 and 8. And they are now both at school. And so I'm now 42. Since I was 33 and I became pregnant with my son, I was literally sick from the very beginning. So I count it as like January 2015 when I really started leaning into this way of working. And also since like the transition of having children and COVID, and being somebody that, despite being a mum, or like the bonus of being a mum, I am really ambitious and I want to do lots of different things and I want my business and my brand to evolve. And I love that feeling of possibility, that I never know what's going to be in my inbox in the morning, or I might get a call, I might get an email about something, and then I get that I'm getting it now, that feeling of like, oh yeah, I'd really like to do that. That sounds exciting to me. And I just love that sense of being able to create that. So when I'm thinking about my working week and planning it, one thing that I've often struggled with is doing certain things on certain days and having a schedule in that way, because certainly until my kids went to school, and I think maybe even if you have kids, even if you say, I'm always going to do this one thing on a Monday morning, like it might not happen. They might have a school assembly, you might have a doctor's appointment, you need to take your mum somewhere. Like, life, I think, is less rigid than ever before. I think there's so many moving parts and spinning plates. And so this is why I want to work through this process in this way, because I don't believe any day is the same for any of us. And I think when we try to really stick to the plan and be rigid, I think that makes us feel like we're not enough or we're not doing the things. And it can just be really frustrating and actually hold us back rather than moving us forward. So this is what I do. The first thing of my day, and sometimes I do it if I'm awake before the kids, but sometimes I do it this first thing when I sit down at my desk. So I often am on the school run in the morning, drop the kids, come back, always make a massive cup of tea and sit down. The first thing I do is I'm really intentional and I name the day. So I get really clear on what this day is about. So if this is a day where I know I am essentially free from now until pickup, so if I've got like a good 5 or 6 hours, so that is very different from me having 4 coaching clients, for example, and a self-tape that I need to do and a full inbox that I need to get back to and work through. So really understanding what the day is, what your capacity is, how you're feeling is so, so important. Because what might happen sometimes is you write the to-do list for the wrong day. So you might be in a state where, and I've had this, you know, when my kids were tiny, I would I'd be awake, absolutely exhausted, knowing that I might have a window of time to work. And then I'd have that sense of, right, I've written my to-do list, and it was too much to work through. So naming the day according to my circumstances, my capacity, how I'm feeling is really, really key. Number 2, it's really easy to get busy with busy work. And as soon as I heard this phrase of working smart, not hard, it changed my life. Because that phrase in itself allowed me to ask the question, am I working smartly here or am I working hard? Because the more I realized I did not want to work hard, it just made me much more focused. So my aim of the game is not to sit down at my desk for the most amount of hours. Nobody's going to come round to my house and award me for that and say, well done, Nikki, you've put in a 12-hour shift today. Congratulations. Nobody does that. And if anything, if I work way more than I essentially need to, I feel like something else is being taken away from. So I feel like I'm not connecting with my children, or like the house becomes a mess, or I haven't had a conversation with my partner, or I haven't phoned my mum, or I've sent that birthday card late, or whatever it might be, or all of the above, right? So each and every day I am looking at my timetable and saying, right, am I working hard here or am I working smartly? So all day long, I could essentially fiddle with my website. I could change my brand colors and not grow my business. And so when I think about this, it's essentially like you've got a garden outside. So you could spend all day kind of cleaning up some leaves and like making things look pretty and making decisions about stuff. But essentially what you need to do in order for that garden to grow is to plant the seeds. Because once you spend time on focusing on planting the seeds, they will then grow and grow your business / your garden. And I think sometimes the temptation is to do the easy things. Do the like, oh, I'm just going to like move these leaves, or I might rearrange things. And actually, if I am committed to running my business in this way, I have to plant the seeds each and every day, because otherwise it doesn't grow and I just end up working hard and not getting the results that I want. Number 3. I'm really clear about what my flavor is. So even though I have different roles within my business, I am very clear about who I am. And that took me a long time to get to that place, because I think for so many of us, we bend and flex and we're like, we can be whoever you want me to be. And actually, if you lean into your flavor, your way of doing things, in a way that feels really great, that's when more opportunities will come to you, rather than you trying to do all of the things. It's like with athletes. I mean, there are the heptathlons, of course, where they just can do all of these events. But Linford Christie, for example, this is showing my age, isn't it? He's like, I'm a sprinter. You don't need me to be a pole vaulter over there. I don't know if he can pole vault. Great if he can. But he was like, I'm just going to be a sprinter. And I'm really, really good at that. And I think in order to really build things, the more you can be yourself, rather than blending in the whole time, it's just going to serve you so well. And it just makes everything easier. So going back into that ease and flow, working smartly, not hard, it's going to be great. Number 4. I am always working on ways daily that I can create the know, like, and trust factor. So I do that through my content, through my website, through speaking to people, through networking events, through meetings, going out and socializing with people, whatever it might be. I'm always looking at those ways where people can get to know me. And that is the way that you're going to attract work and clients, by creating those relationships with people. And I also am considering, how can that know, like, and trust factor happen without me being in the room? And that has been really key for me, because I don't want to be out every night. I don't want to be doing all the things, but I do love my YouTube channel, for example, my Instagram, my newsletter list, that I can create something, and not only does it go out to more than one person, but I don't know who's watching it and when they're watching it, and that is a really great thing as well. And number 5, I give people a call to action. And I think this is very important to get used to. Asking for the sale, pointing people to the next steps. Buy here, click here, do this next, join this. Because if you don't, people just have that very sort of lukewarm response of like, yeah, that was nice. And yeah, that was nice does not grow your business. In fact, I don't want people just to say that was nice. I want somebody to come to one of my talks and go, okay, so I now know what to do. I want them to be shifted in energy, in purpose, in focus, in confidence, in whatever it might be. And so often I see this, like, if you fancy this sort of very casual language, people like being able to make the next decision. So help them and support them to make that decision. Because so many of us all the time are completely overwhelmed. And so if you can support somebody with something, absolutely do that. If you want to grow your business in a short amount of time, please come over and let's have a conversation. That is the best thing to do. I'd love to find out more about you, what you want to grow, how I can help you, the gaps that you've got, what's missing, and then we can get the party started, essentially. Yeah, let's chat further, and do follow along, and I'll see you next time.